Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to show you the proper way to get a sun visor off of a P80 Volvo. Maybe for other Volvos as well. Here's the tools you'll need: a flat tip screwdriver and a 10mm ratchet. And if you're going to cut that wire, you'll need some wire snips as well. Now these sun visors sag, I think, mainly because people push them too far forward. They're designed to hang down and go just a little bit forward, but when people push them forward, trying to get them to press against the windshield, I think that messes up the hinge in them, or they just get old and worn and the hinge wears out. At any rate, when you try to hold them up, they fall down. They're quite expensive, so I try to find them at the junkyard. Normally, I think they're about $130 at the dealer, but what you need to do is the A-pillar trim needs to come out. Then you take the two 10mm bolts loose. Then you unplug the connector down there for the 70 series. The 850s doesn't have a plug, so sometimes I get those at the junkyard and I splice them in. At any rate, if you have an 850, the plug is actually down through the dash and comes up behind the glove box down here. So the plug is really too far to reach. It's better if the plug was in the pillar, like on the 70 series cars. So if you have an 850 and you're going to cut the wires, you need to disconnect the battery before you cut the wires, because cutting the wires, you'll likely short out your dome light situation. So don't do that. Once you got your pillar out, your two 10mm loose, you pull this down, you wire in the replacement, you put the two 10mm bolts in, and then you put your A-pillar back in. So let's get started. First thing I do is take a small flat tip screwdriver, carefully pry the top of this out and remove it. It's got a little notch in there so you can get this trim piece off. Next, your trim is secured by this little clip. You turn this clip 90 degrees, work it out of the trim piece, and now you can pull your B pillar away from the wall. Don't pull it too far, you could crack it, especially on the 850s. You want to pull it away from the pillar far enough to get this trim piece out. To get this pillar trim pulled away from the pillar, you have to pull these clips in on front and back. After you have the clips pulled in, now you can pull this trim back away from the pillar. I have to do that with two hands. Okay, I have it pulled loose. Like I said, you only want to pull it far enough to get this trim piece out, because if you pull it too far down, out, away from it, you could crack it somewhere going down the pillar. I actually use two hands, and at the next pivot point, I put my hands in there, unclipped it, but you want to make sure you don't cut yourself. Next, you got to get this loose. So it looks like the rear one is over top of the forward one, so you can either work this one away from the upper trim, or you just work this from under it. And be careful working this trim out from the car, because you don't want to break any of the clips. So I pull it in toward the other side of the car. Work your way slowly and down so you don't break the A-pillar trim. They are fragile, they do break, try not to break it. So I worked it from under the B-pillar trim. Now I'm working my way down, real careful not to break it, and I pull it up and away from the A-pillar. There's the plug to the sun visor. I unplug it, I unthread all of the connections loose through these little things here, I'm going to remove those two 10mm bolts. Now these type just pull loose. This type here, you push them in and bend them over to get them open. And just go all the way up the pillar so you can get those wires loose without breaking anything. Once you got your two 10mm out, you just thread the wire through your roof liner. No big deal. Don't try to pull it down so far that you'll break it. Now thread the replacement one in. Now this visor has a home link which controls your garage door. Somebody asked me a few days ago, how do you replace the light bulbs on these sun visors? And it's pretty simple process. So you have a sun visor. Let me show you. I take an accessory screwdriver, pry it into the light assembly, slide it across or work my way across to get the lens out. Once the lens is out, you see those two fuse type light bulbs in there. Replace those light bulbs and set the light cover back in place and snap it under the little lip that it has there, and that's it. So here's the light bulb. It's a 12 volt 1.2 watt. Manufacture date is actually encoded on these, so when you see them in the salvage yard, you should be able to figure out what date they were manufactured. This one looks like maybe 96 or 96 of the first month, January. Now this one is missing some kind of hinge pin from the Vanity, and it's cracked. So I'm going to try to remove this from the bad sun visor. If I can get it out, I'll replace it into the other one. To my knowledge, these are simply glued into the sun visor, and they have some kind of clips in them. So let me see if I can pry this vanity mirror out of this one. And they do have wires connecting them on the back. That's how they light up. So if you're going to try to swap that over, try not to damage those wires. So far I'm doing good with getting this mirror assembly out of this damaged sun visor. The plastic tabs on the bottom of it are pressed in and held into this metal part of the sun visor. But on the one that I'm going to keep, I don't have to be as careful prying this visor out of here, because if I break those plastic tabs, it's no big deal. I'll just dig them out of the metal. When I pulled the mirror out of the replacement visor, I realized that I could just guide these connectors out of the Vanity. Now that I have the mirror, the Vanity, out of the good visor, I'm going to straighten out these metal connectors, securing points, so that when I press the replacement Vanity in place, it'll stay in place. So I'm going to straighten out all those metal tabs. Okay, I have my light wiring hooked up. I have my tabs straightened out. Now I'm going to press this Vanity in place into this sun visor. I hit all 4 points with the palm of my hand. It appears to be in shape and good. Now I'm going to go ahead and thread the electrical connector through the hole in the visor, put this one in place, and bolt it up there. But I want to make sure that I don't crimp this wire. This is how that wire should be secured in there before you secure it to the ceiling. I have the visor bolted in place, the wire coming down through each little guide. I reattached the plug connector. I'm ready to put the A-pillar trim back on. Now this trim has 2 slots down the bottom of it, and those slots slide over these 2 connections. And then it has these posts here, and those posts clip into these sockets in these locations. And then it has the little socket there, and it hooks over there. So let me slide this down over the hooks like it's supposed to be, secure it without breaking it, and then put this piece up here back together. I have everything back together the way it was. I hooked this trim piece on here, make sure it slid down in the bottom, and pop it in place. We're all done. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.